That's what we do.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
I told y'all.
Shout out to Bird B.
Pay attention.
Your stripes, baby.
He's getting one step further away
I cannot live like this anymore.
from the man he was.
He doesn't know who he is. And he doesn't know what he's gonna do when he's Jay Reed.
Stick around, Jay. I'm gonna school you.
And one step closer to the man he's after.
It's me and you now, dog. It's the moment of truth.
Now,
Who is this guy? You a cop?
two worlds are about to collide.
Why you stressing, man? What's up? Y'all don't trust me?
I'm pulling you out.
You crazy, man? We're gonna blow the whole thing.
And only one will survive.
What's going on, YouTube? We back in the Low Key Cave, Keyshawn 9's YouTube page, aka Mr. Low Key, and we are back with another movie review. And we're going back in time, and we got a retro review of the 1999 film In Too Deep, starring Omarepps and llcoolj. When it comes to like undercover cop movies, I feel like there's a plethora of them. There's a lot of them, but ones that stuck out to me and kind of similar to this type of story as far as In Too Deep is, of course, I'm about to say Deep Cover. Lawrence Fishburne, Jeff Goldblum, Point Break, of course, The Fast and the Furious, which I mean pretty much took after Point Break, but definitely Deep Cover as far as this guy coming into this situation as an undercover cop and getting so indulged in it, especially coming off whatever he's had to deal with in his past life, and then just pretty much losing himself in his job. But In Too Deep, man, we are introducing your boy Omarepps as far as Jeff, aka Jay Reed, but right now he's just Jeff. And even watching him kind of getting his toes into the water, you know, trying to just play around with it a little bit as far as the whole undercover thing, you can see he kind of got act for it, or as far as with his captaincy or his cohorts or his co-workers or whatever. So he's basically, this is his whole thing as far as Jay Reed. Like, this is what he wants to do. He wants to do undercover, and he just wants to rise in the ranks. But with this introduction, I feel like In Too Deep did something a little different outside of what other undercover cop movies do, as far as trying to focus somewhat on the psyche or on the mental aspect of what this character was really going through as far as Jeff, aka Jay Reed. It's because we have a lot of those other movies, you know, where they kind of more so focusing on the action aspect of it, or just, for instance, Deep Cover, it wasn't really focused on the mental aspect, but from the street aspect, even the racial aspect, they was kind of dipping in that. But Point Break and Fast and Furious is more so the cop story of somewhat. But when it comes to In Too Deep, I feel like they was definitely trying to focus on what Omarepps' character was going through mentally, as far as him and getting just that deep undercover. So even when the opening scene with him explaining into this class, I guess, of people who are about to try to go into the lane of undercover work as far as fellow cops or whatever, and him giving his aspect of what he went through and where his mental state was at, dealing with the situations he was dealing with as far as trying to prove himself or try to make sure he was able to stay undercover without being caught as a cop. But outside of that, man, your boy llcoolj, like, watching him come in and play this type of role outside of what we've ever seen him do, and even from his music point of view, as far as him being a rapper, I mean, we do got our lyrical llcoolj, you know, the song 4321, you know, some of those, the Can I Bust, of course, the response to Can I Bust, but as far as overall, you know, he's a ladies man. Like, most of his songs is singing to the ladies or whatever, or even if you've seen him in movies or whatever, or even like sitcoms or whatever, he's never been like this as far as a villain. So watching him come in with this performance, as far as playing this role of this man named God, I mean, even with that, calling himself God, yeah, he killed it. Like, L pulled this performance off, man. And L, your boy in here doing some devious shit. And if you done seen this movie, which I'm thinking everybody has, then you know what scene I'm talking about, involving a pool table and a pool stick. But even outside of that, it's just the persona he gives off, because he is one of those drug dealers that you would not want to work for. Like, if you in the streets and this is the guy you working with, it's like some gang initiation shit, because it's like, I ain't got no other choice, because if I leave, he probably gonna take me out. It's similar like Victor Sweet off Four Brothers. It's like, these are the type of drug dealers, they ain't got no respect for their co-workers, they ain't even paying them right. So what is the whole admiration for wanting to do this, being that you can get caught up by the cops not only that, it's the fact that I'm being mistreated and I can go to jail or die. Nah, I'm good. And that's kind of where it was coming from with God, as far as him and what he was as a ruler or drug lord or whatever. Because the people that was working for him, yeah, they wasn't feeling that shit, but it was almost like a no choice situation. So that was other aspects too that was kind of adding on to what Jay Reed was going through as far as being undercover and kind of looking around like, yo, you know what? What if I was God? Like, what if I was the one running this shit? You know what I'm saying? I could run this shit a lot better. And even certain moments where he was telling his captain, like, you know, I got a couple niggas that be ready to take him out quick and work for me. And you could kind of see right then and there, he was kind of like his head was not really in the space of like, you know, you a cop, right? You are you a cop. Outside of that, it is a moment where it seems like, yo, we're gonna have to pull you out, because he get into this situation where it pretty much looked like a setup, but he ended up having to take 2 individuals out while he's undercover. And this is kind of like his first real introduction to God, and him not even really being really in the crew like that yet. So even after this moment, they his captain pulls him out. And shout out to the way this nigga kept growing his hair back real fast too, as far as Omar Epps in the movie, because it's easy to cut your hair, and it's like he'd be bald, and the next thing you know, because I ain't even see the aspects of the time jumps. I ain't see like 1 year later, month later. Maybe they had certain moments in there like that, but I know it was time jumps. But I'm just saying, outside of that though, it's the relationship he builds with Nia Long's character once he has to get pulled out after the situation he goes through. And once he starts developing that relationship, but once again, you see that he's very eager to jump right back in, because once he sees this opportunity to get back out there, he back in it. And not from the dismay of his captain, who don't want him necessarily back in it yet, because he can tell that his mental, after what he just had to experience, nah, you're not ready yet. You need to like chill out for a little bit and get your mental health together and get yourself together. But your boy Jay Reed, he like, nah, man, I got to do this. I'm ready to do this. And he ends up jumping right back into it. We getting more now the second time around with him and llcoolj's character. And I like the chemistry between them two. Not only that, it's the whole aspect of God's perspective. Because he got a guy with him, and this is the whole pool table incident or whatever, which this is like his man, this is his main man, this in the third, and then this incident happened, and he do that shit to him. So now he's trying to pretty much bring Jay Reed in as his guy now. Once again, just watching the way they build this shit up, and you can see that, I'm guessing more so than anything, the way Jay Reed is seeing the way God kind of, like I said, mistreats his work, and the way he even deals with situations. In particular, a situation where Jay Reed was used to talk to this girl when he first came around, and when he do come back, of course, she's strung out and shit, and she on shit, and God pretty much trying to get some money from her. And once again, it's him even being a father as far as God, and he doing all of this shit in front of his kid. So I think that was a lot of it too, as far as playing on Jay Reed's mindset, as far as him like, yo, I got to do something about this nigga. I got to do something about it. And I think it came a point where it was like not just putting him in jail, I got to take him out, but that's where I feel like In Too Deep gets more into the layers of the mental space, because now we start to more so go into where is Jay Reed's head at? Like, how is he thinking, or how is he feeling right now in these compromising situations where it seems like he is building this relationship with God, but more so of anything, he building this relationship with the people around God, the people he seemed like he want to help them out, make sure they good or whatever. But with all that going on, you see he's having these frictions too with his coworkers as far as other cops who are helping with the case, and they are looking at him too like, I don't know if your boy good, man. And it definitely get to this point though. You could tell this nigga's way out of here when we had this moment with him and Nia Long, and this is when he done got back into undercover, whatever, and they kind of ain't spoke, but they got a situation where these cops pull up where it looking like a domestic situation, but it's really not, and she trying to even explain to the cops like, no, we just me and my boyfriend, we talking to blah, 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 and your boy Jay Reed pull a gun out. Once again, this ain't Jeff, this is Jay Reed, and this is his mental space because he's been undercover for so long now, and even with him being undercover, not only that, they building this bond too, because it's this point in the club where Jay Reed showed up, and I'm guessing this is kind of where you can see that time done kind of moved on, and he done kind of established himself within this group and this crew or whatever, and they kind of trusted him. Not only that, they got his back in situations or whatever. So that's once again showing you how he kind of building this trust and this chemistry with this crew or whatever. Outside of that though, man, once we kind of get towards the end, that's when everything kind of comes into play as far as where he really kind of loses himself. Because even before then, the captain is really wanting to pull him out, but he already kind of working with some other people that wants him to. They really just want God. Like, they don't care what he had mentally. They ain't worrying about none of that shit. They like, yo, let him finish what he doing so we can rest God. So once we get to this ending and everything really go down, it comes to a little confrontation between the cops he been working with and him and God. And it get to a situation where he pointing his gun at the cops like he don't even know that, yo, I've been undercover. Like, he in that Jay Reed space and he's right there and he has to snap out of it. So even going into the ending where you have the little trial or whatever, and even before that, we got the classic line from llcoolj's character once he find out that Omar Epps' character is a cop. Like, you ain't no cop, Jay Reed. You a sellout. And I even think at that moment, LL's character, guy, was like, ain't no way, no, you ain't no cop, bro. We done some shit together. Like, you ain't no cop. But going into even the trial or whatever, and you can see him kind of looking out for the other crew members or whatever, as far as they sentencing or whatever. Not your boy God, of course. But once again, I feel like In Too Deep, outside of the other films that kind of done this whole thing with, you know, the undercover cop, whatever, getting in too deep, or no pun intended, but just getting into involved or whatever and kind of losing themselves. I feel like In Too Deep went more so on the mental aspect, and they concentrated on that a little bit more than even with the whole cop story or the whole drug lord story or whatever, which they kind of do in these movies or whatever. And like I said, with them doing that, as I got older, because first being introduced to this movie, I'm like, oh, see, we got llcoolj, Omar Epps, you know, classic people, rapper, and then, you know, Omar Epps been in everything, Juice and all this shit. I'm like, I got to see this. And like I said, first watching it, I might not have liked it that much because of the rap they was doing, because this definitely is focused on Omar Epps' character. Like, we getting LL and what he doing, like, we get a very crucial introduction to him as a character as far as God. So they got those moments in there, but it's the whole thing where, like I said, really showing you where somebody mentally can go doing this type of job or this type of work. Shout out to Nas cameo too in here, which I feel like it's his best acting role. Outside of that, man, if y'all are familiar with this movie, which I think y'all are, if you haven't seen this in a long time, go watch it on Pluto. It's over there playing all the time. Definitely let me know how y'all feeling about this. This is definitely still one of my favorites to this day. I like the story overall. Like I said, as I got older and noticing just how much they were actually concentrating on the mental aspect of this movie, makes me actually kind of enjoy it more. And it kind of separates itself a little bit from those other movies that I felt like wasn't necessarily concentrating on why this person was kind of losing himself to the job. I mean, outside of his undercover work, than him knowing that I'm a cop, I gotta concentrate, I gotta, you know what I'm saying, get myself back. But y'all let me know how y'all feeling about this overall. Make sure you hit that like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification bell, let you know when I upload new videos. Other than that, we out.